Sadly, I have to respond to the State of the Union because I have not been so disappointed in prior addresses. To begin with, to offer the Medal of Freedom, the precious standards of someone that upholds all of our American values, including and especially those of equity and justice, to an individual that has spent his career spewing lies, misinformation, but worse yet, hateful prejudice against vast number of communities, particularly marginalized communities, is something that goes beyond being disappointed. To hear all the lies that were provided by this administration, and worse yet, to continue the fear-mongering, particularly of in communities and of all Americans, whether we're Democrat or Republican. Generally, we understood that our party affiliation did not mean love of country. I do not believe that the average everyday person that is out voting, whether they vote for Democrats or whether they vote for Republicans, do not love their country. We cannot allow what was supposed to be our standard bearer to continue to allow us to have this narrative where it pits each other when we truly want exactly the same thing, and that is the improvement and the opportunity to be able to thrive and live in America, to be able to continue to have that dream, that American dream that we've held so much to heart in our past. As was mentioned about universal health care, universal health care is a human right. That does not vilify us against this country, nor does it lead to bankruptcy. When things such as the overreaching and almost not ending deficit that we are now growing was always both what Republicans and of course economists have mentioned is important for us to take a look at when we're looking at the economy over health. And that was nowhere discussed in what could truly bankrupt our country. And then of course, I take most definitely personal the fear-mongering of immigrant communities, whether they are undocumented or otherwise. I was undocumented for 12 years of my life until I was 17 years old. I am not a murderer. I am not a rapist. I am not a trafficker. As a matter of fact, I am a Georgian. And not only am I a Georgian, but I am a duly elected state representative for this great state of Georgia. And I uphold being an elected official to ensure that I bring the best to our state. And by that, bringing the best to our country. We must not allow to continue this type of rhetoric to be the rhetoric of the day of our country. What must we do is not solely be disappointed and not solely be angry, but we must turn out the vote. That is the wake-up call of this State of the Union. We have to go out and vote personally. But if you are listening to this, if you are part of our campaign, if you're part of any campaign, you are already going to the polls. We need to talk to our neighbors, to those neighborhoods where we don't go because we dismiss them because they haven't voted before, because they're new American voters, because they're impoverished voters, because they're apartment complexes. We have to go talk to people that are not listening today, but we have to go and talk to them one-on-one, person to person, and listen to their concerns, listen why they might be disenfranchised with the idea of voting, why they do not feel empowered through their vote. And by listening, we may be able to offer some comfort and motivation to turn out. That is it. That's all we need and can do. That is making sure we engage our voices and make sure that we turn out this vote. We cannot have this administration be reelected. And we need to win the U.S. Senate. We need to fortify the U.S. House. And here in the state of Georgia, like many other states, we need to ensure that our local candidates are equally promoted and that we continue to support them as well, because we also need to win back common sense and decency to our elected positions. Please join me in this work. As we go talking to people door to door, we can't do this work without you. Join me, join Aching Pain, join any nonprofit that's doing this work, but join the work, because it does not only happen on social media. It really takes time and money. Your time to go out and volunteer, your money to support these organizations that are doing this work. So I urge you to come with me these last few months that we have until our election and the election of several other candidates, and join us in the work that it takes to turn out folks, because we cannot continue to allow for this type of rhetoric to be the representation of our country, because that is not where we stand.